Welcome to the Peak Collective podcast. My name's Luca.
My name's Shane.
And we're here to talk no BS, just fitness. Shane, important topic today. It is an epidemic that has been on the rise for many years, but massive predictions that we're going to go into today is obesity. First thing, I don't know if you knew this, but got a few stats here that we can talk about. But first one I want to look about is the actual prediction of what is predicted in 6 years, in 2030.
6 years, 2030.
2030. How many adults, so one in, etc., do you think will be obese by 2030?
Let's go 50%.
50%, yeah, so 1 in 2?
50%, yeah, 1 in 2.
Okay, not as bad as that, thankfully.
No, I went high.
1 in 3 though.
1 in 3, oh, it's
still
close.
A third.
Yeah.
Still a third. So it's predicted 1 in 3 adults are going to be obese. The prediction is 1 in 5 will be women and 1 in 7 will be men by 2030. It's quite alarming.
Oh, that's quite scary, isn't it? Within 6 years as well.
Yeah. Quite alarming figures. Because at the moment, we're at 30% for women and 25% for men. So you're talking about
men, nearly a third for women.
Quite a stark.
That's scary. Where does it stem from though? Because you think all the knowledge now is out there, whether it's on YouTube, podcasts, books, the internet is everything, but people are still obese, right? Gyms, you can get cheap gym memberships, there are budget-friendly gyms or expensive gyms, you can go for a walk, you can run, but people just don't have access to it. Is it lack of knowledge? Is it they don't want it? Are we now diving into the environmental factors rather than it is just calories and you're just eating too much?
This is the thing. So this is something that I discuss with either clients or just people around the gym a lot of the time, or just at family dinners sometimes, if I'm honest. I think one of the biggest factors is everyone knows what you should be eating, let's not lie.
Yeah, okay? No, you know what's clean and what isn't.
Everyone understands what is actually healthy food.
Yeah.
To a degree, obviously, it can start getting basically overrated. Like we said in the last episodes, about 3 episodes ago, around like superfood and things like this. But the basics are, and we all know this, I've known this since I was a child, vegetables, fruits, lean meats. We know that's the
You're taught it almost in primary school, like eat your 5 a day, an apple a day keeps the doctor away and stuff like that. Like the cringy stuff just works. You don't need to go into meal timing and stuff that we've spoken about before in our nutrition episode. It's what's good and what isn't good for you, surely.
And that's the truth, is we know that.
Yeah.
And if you talk to an obese person, it's not like they don't know that's... So it isn't, in my opinion, a lack of knowledge per se when it comes to what foods.
No.
Personally, we can obviously get into this. For me, it's 2 things. Firstly, we can go into it now, it's lifestyle factors. I do think it's preach, and we've spoken about this as well, calories in, calories out, which it is, right? Eat less calories than you burn, you will lose weight.
Yeah.
It is that.
That's just a mathematical equation, it does work.
But in saying that, that's all well and good. I can tell you some maths equations, it doesn't actually mean you don't know maths, right? No. And this is the issue, is I can say to someone, eat this, eat that, but will they do it? Most likely not.
Probably
this is
not.
where environmental and lifestyle factors
comes into play. Yes, it does.
You can look at upbringing, so very often, and not in an offensive way, but if I look at a child who is obese, more often than not, the parents will also be obese.
Yeah.
And we'll also go into what obesity is. I think a lot of people underestimate how much body fat percentage you need to actually be clinically obese.
It's actually not that much,
no,
if you think about it.
It really isn't. I think most people, when they think of obesity, is morbid obesity, which is the one...
which is the oversized that they see on the shows and everything like that, and they're in wheelchairs and stuff like that. But that is morbid obesity. That's not just
morbid
obesity,
which is when it's gotten to that level.
That's like quite a late stage.
Exactly. Actual obesity, I've actually again got the stats here so we don't mess up with the numbers. For women, 30% or more. Okay, that's not... Or more.
That's just as a number.
It's not that. For perspective, most fit women are in the low 20s. So you're looking at 19 to 25%, give or take, which is a healthy body fat percentage. So as soon as you get above 30%, you're actually clinically put as obese.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Right? Men, it's even crazier. So again, for men, healthy is 10 to 20%.
Yeah.
Again, if you're fit, healthy, etc., normally on the lower end, up to about 15. Higher end, still normally, if depending what sport you do, 25% for men. Body fat percentage. You're clinically already diagnosed as obese. Again, this is the lower spectrum. This isn't morbid obesity.
This isn't, you need to start, if you're listening to this, we're not telling you off if you're 25% body fat. No. But as a medical statistic and number, that's what your category, right? You're into.
Because we have seen with obesity, there's a lot more likely that you'll get various different illnesses and diseases, and it doesn't actually take that much to
fall into that category.
And I think this is why I really want to get into it around the lifestyle and habits more than anything else today, and we can discuss. Again, we've spoken about it before, where the majority of people that we get in, the first thing I always tackle is their lifestyle and habits.
Yeah, every single time.
If you can't shift that, it's all well and good. I can give you the best diet plan in the world.
Yeah.
You will lose weight within the 3 months to a year. We see this with Weight Watchers, whatever else. But you will gain that weight all back, if not more.
Straight back up. And then this is what I try to teach people as well from day one. And if you know me and what I kind of built myself, I've always gone by don't quit, live fit. That's kind of my slogan. You've probably seen it. And that's don't quit, live fit. Don't just quit after a year or 6 months. You know, it's live fit. That doesn't mean your whole personality now needs to be the gym and how many pull-ups can you do and how much do you bench. Cool. I don't care about how much you run. It's you have a balance. That's the healthy lifestyle. You can go out, enjoy yourself, but it's not on a Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. It's once every now and then, and you know you'll find balance of I need to keep myself healthy now for longevity because that's who I want to be, and I'm not going to quit it after 6 months because I think it's a bit of hard work or it's not a bit of me.
And this is where I think the lifestyle part comes in, is, as you were saying, it's the living fit, right? I think not enough people prioritise their health over many things. 100%. A lot of either, again, people, clients, etc. that I talk to, they prioritise their work, which is great. You want to prioritise your work, obviously, it's how you make money. They prioritise their family, which obviously, again, you love your family. All well and good, but if you can't function optimally, which very often is harder, at least when you're obese, especially if you're morbidly obese, obviously, is you need to focus on yourself. In my opinion, this is always what I've said to people, if you don't put your health first above everything else goes down.
Yeah, I see this all the time as well, and I've said this to people, I think we're on the same page here, is if you don't look after yourself, how are you looking after your family, your loved ones? Because when they see you, when you have a conversation, you're going to be tired, you're lackluster, you're fatigued because your body's not performing how it should be. When you're working, are you working optimally? Are you hitting your targets? Are you working to a good threshold? Probably not, because you might be run off a little bit of caffeine, but you're tired because you're not sleeping right. Your vitamins are low, your micronutrients are low. Like, your whole lifestyle comes down when you're not looking after yourself. So yes, if your work is a priority, your family is a priority, they should be, but yourself should be number one because it will boost everything else around you as well to pick it up.
100%. And this is where, so how do we make it a priority, as an example? So let's say for today, or a day that you can give an example of, how would you put your health as a priority above everything else in a day, as an example?
I think for me the two biggest ones, if we're talking health wise, and this isn't for aesthetics, isn't for anything, I think the number one has to be sleep. The sheer amount of people that come to me, or even just people I talk to, like you said, around a dinner table or anything, is, oh, how much you sleep? I've got about 6 hours. Like, why are you not at least trying to get 7 to 9 hours, that 8 hour threshold? We all know it. Like you said, when you're learning school about, you know, eat your 5 a day, your fruit, your vegetable, sleep was one of them for me, and I didn't go to a private school or anything like that. That's just a, you know, community-based education. I think it's very important that people just go back to basics, as we said before, and I think sleep has got to be up there.
Yeah, I think focusing on sleep, I mean, I've got a baby, so I understand parents listening to this.
I don't.
I've done an episode about ourselves and our fitness, so listen to that if you didn't. But I have got a baby, so I understand that sleeping is hard when you've got a baby, but it's still a priority of mine.
Yes.
So even if I'm not getting the 7, 8, 9 hours, I'm still trying to get that.
100%.
And if not, it's the quality of sleep at the same time.
Yeah, then you need a better amount.
If I can get 6 hours quality sleep at least, It's not in and out 6 hours. I've gone to bed at 11, woken up at 5. It's I've gone to bed at 10, woken up at 8, for an example. But it's been broken because of the baby, etc. But I've had 6 hours solid, like good sleep. That's good for me. And that's what they mean when they say 6 to 9 hours sleep, is how good the quality of that sleep is. There's many clients, I don't know about yourself, I've had where they say, oh yeah, I have 8 hours sleep a night. But the realistic scenario is no, you go to bed at 11, you wake up at 7, how much of that is actual sleep?
I've had it so much. So obviously I wear a Whoop and it tracks your sleep and things like that. It tells you your resting heart rate and your sleep performance, and you get a score based off of that, basically. And I saw it was actually last week. So I went to bed really early, it was like 9:30 or something, so I was up early the next day, woke up at like 6 o'clock. So that's a long stint you're in bed, you're asleep for.
Yeah.
My sleep time was 6 hours 15.
Yeah.
So yes, I was in bed and sleeping, but it was restless, I was awake, I was fidgeting around, and genuinely I didn't get my 8-9 hours sleep. So you're right there. And a statistic I saw the other day, when the research popped up and I looked into it, was if you get a poor quality of sleep for under 7 hours, you're more likely to get a double % of injury when you're training.
Damn, man.
So you're up to twice as likely to get any sort of injury if you're under 7 hours of sleep. Yeah, but it's make a difference, right? You've seen yourself that your training can change once you have had a little one, you've had a baby and your sleep has changed. You've had to change how you're training around it as well.
100%. And so sleep, big one. Okay. Again, not going on aesthetics, but it's just resistance training. I can't stress enough how resistance training will change your body composition. You've got two different types of exercise. You've got cardio, you've got weights. Both very important. Obviously, we want everyone to do both. You don't just want to do one or the other.
No, we're not preaching like bodybuilding when we're saying resistance training. We just mean a resistance against a muscle that's working. You don't have to turn into bodybuilding.
No, but at that same time, what we want to do is change the body composition. The best way to do that is build muscle, which will boost your metabolism. It will help you with insulin sensitivity.
Yeah.
In which case, you will burn more fat, you will build more muscle from strength training. And then we look at the cardio as just getting daily activity in there.
Yeah, making sure your heart and your lungs are moving correctly, functional properly for longevity. You know, that's what your heart and lungs are there for. Yep. As soon as they stop working, see you later, basically. So they are just as important as well.
So we've got sleep.
Yeah.
We got exercise, both cardio and weights, depending on the cardio. Whatever cardio you want to do. I mainly do walking now, at least. You do a lot of cardio.
I do a lot of stuff, running, jumping over boxes, as we said in episode 1. I mix around my cardio, but that's just the way I train.
But it doesn't matter. If there's a sport you like to play, if there's anything you want to do that as cardio.
Yeah, do it socially as well. Monday night football, you know, playing rugby on the weekends like I used to, playing golf, whatever. If you're getting your heart rate up and around, you're socialising, getting your lungs and heart working, I don't care if you're zone 1 or zone 4 of your heart rate, just get yourself working and ticking over alongside your resistance training. You're in a very happy place.
100%. So I keep saying that. Really come up with a new phrase. Daily habits, if we're looking at changing lifestyle, obviously it's very, very difficult. I always say to people, any new habit is going to be hard to do, right? If I said to you to stop, I always use this one. So if I told you to stop brushing your teeth tomorrow, hopefully you do always brush your teeth.
I will be brushing my teeth.
But if I told you to stop brushing your teeth from tomorrow for a week, how hard is that going to be?
I wouldn't do it.
Well, exactly, right? Because
I didn't know if you were trying to trick me out there.
No, your routine and your habit is to brush your teeth twice a day because you know that you should be doing it.
It's good for you,
right? Same thing with diet and exercise. Majority of people in our population, and not just the obese, it can be underweight, is their habits and their lifestyle doesn't revolve around diet, exercise and sleeping. It doesn't. We want to stay up late to watch Netflix.
Yeah.
We want to get home, put our feet on the sofa, don't want to exercise, and we don't want to be thinking too much about what we're eating. We just want to eat so we can do what else we want to do, right? And that's the issue, is if you can try and change these habits, start off slowly, that's the best way to go. Too many people, when they just find out they're obese or whatever, they go the quickest route they can. You go slowly, it is a snail's pace, but okay, for the next 3 months, I'm just going to focus on resistance training. I'm just trying to get that in 2-3 days a week. okay, now I'm going to try and do some cardio, now I'm going to try and go and diet. We'll get into diet in a second. Do it bit by bit by bit and create habits. Because again, if I said to you, do all these things which are massively healthy for you, but if you're not used to doing these things, as you said about the washing, you ain't going to do them.
No, you're not. I am going to contradict that a little bit.
Talk to me.
You are completely right.
Yeah.
I also think the step-by-step thing is right. I think where people get confused is they try to do everything at once. Mm-hmm. So they'll stop drinking the fizzy drink, stop eating the food, start exercising, start running, start stretching, doing everything, and then it gets too much and they want to stop because they can't fit it in their lifestyle. Yeah. But I also think if you pick one, it's quite easy to just get focused on it if your reason why is big enough. Because obviously myself, I was a chubby kid, I was probably hitting overweight / obese up to the age of about 14. And as I've said in a previous episode, I sat there and I said, 12 months from now, I'm not going to touch a fizzy drink. And I was so upset by how I was and my upbringing and how I looked. And from that moment on, I switched it. 12 months, I didn't touch fizzy drink. That's not a mindset thing. People will look at me now and go, oh, you know, you've been a pro athlete or whatever. You do CrossFit, you're a PT, you're this massive standpoint for gym fitness. Of course you do that. Well, I wasn't. Mm-hmm. I was this kid, overweight at school, played a bit of rugby, but I was like waddling around a field, like... Jeremy, if you knew me back then, you know what I'm talking about, but if you see me now, you wouldn't see that. Mm-hmm. But just for 12 months, I was like, right, this is it. I'm going to prove people wrong, I'm doing it for myself. And I think that was just because I didn't think of anything else, you know. I was still eating sandwiches, I had bread, I had Cocoa Pops, I did a few runs, played rugby, but my one thing that started this whole journey off to sat where we are now is I'm going to stop drinking fizzy drinks. And then for 12 months, that was it. I didn't touch fizzy drink at all. So I think the reason why is also really important. Mm-hmm. But that's because I had one focus with the fizzy drinks mm-hmm. and then implemented little bits. So that's right as well. From a personal background, I'm not telling you.
It's okay. Diet.
Yeah, that comes hand in hand, diet as well.
Yeah. So we've gone in detail around exercise, changing habits. I personally think, again, we can talk about it. I personally think that diet is the hardest part.
100%.
I don't think anyone likes to diet. I don't think it's the hardest thing to change. Exercise, for most people at least, I find, if you can find something you enjoy, you'll then enjoy it.
Exercising and training is the easiest thing. And I say this to clients, you're a nutritionist, you've got your levels, your certificates for it. I haven't done mine as of yet. I don't know when I will, because dealing with people's nutrition is a completely different ballgame. I obviously help people, I advise people, I know what I'm talking about, but when you're pinpointing and you're not someone's chef, I find that so hard, man.
It's the hardest bit. Even me, right? I'm on a cut at the moment, about 5 weeks in.
He's looking good. He looks good.
I don't like it.
No.
I don't like eating
and
less.
That is you sitting here as a fitness professional.
Exactly right.
We train together, we coach together. As a fitness professional, you've just said it on camera, you don't like it.
No, I don't like no, seriously, I don't like dieting.
Not at all.
In my opinion, no one does. It's not a fun thing to do. I eat healthy, obviously, when I'm on a bulk or a maintenance calories, etc. But in terms of actually cutting calories and actually trying to lose weight, I don't think many people will enjoy that. No. The exercise side, I fell in love with fairly quickly. The sleep sides, we'll get into that if we want to, comes for me is morning and evening routines, and I actually kind of get enjoyment out of that.
Yeah.
Diet is the hardest thing to get someone to start. Sorry, this sparkling water.
Sparkling water, it happens, man. It hits you.
With people's nutrition, it can be multiple things.
Yeah.
Just put myself in perspective, I'm half Italian, okay? A lot of my nutritional habits come from being Italian.
Yeah.
Big meals, being rewarded for eating a lot or finishing my plate. A lot of the type of food I eat.
What was it you said to me the other day? Coffee and cake?
Yeah, coffee and pastries. Coffee and pastries was
for
a
the
diet,
morning.
right? That's the
and I was like,
breakfast.
What? Are you having a laugh?
Exactly, a cappuccino or espresso with a croissant or whatever, that is a breakfast.
Yeah.
And the type of food I was brought up, and again, there's nothing wrong with it, but this is just how I was brought up, is again, a lot of meat, which is good. Vegetables, but also pasta. I love pasta. Pizza. I love pizza. Carbohydrates, give me more. Is a cultural thing. So say for example I have an Italian or I have an Asian or I have any type of culture out there that come to me, is not only me telling them to eat less, but their diet could be so appalling, it could just be pasta on every meal and nothing else, and then it's like, I also need to change what you're eating, that's where it gets difficult.
That's where it gets really difficult. I've had this as well, especially with Asians, and like you said, I've had Italian, Spanish, whatever, you get loads, but they also, some cultures cook in like a lot of oil, and I didn't realise this, or even spices. I learned this actually, it was only like 4 or 5 months ago. When you have spice, you crave sweetness. So a lot of my clients were eating spicy foods, and then I was like, why do you keep eating chocolate? But obviously when you go out for a meal, normally if you go to like, I don't know, a curry house, an Asian or something, or like a Thai restaurant, you get like a little mint chocolate or anything with the bill at the end. And it makes so much sense that if that's someone's culture, you know, like yours is pastries and things like that, after a big meal, you'd have a chocolate or a sweet dessert. And I never thought about it like that because I wasn't grown up like it. And it is just so hard to then tell you, drain the oil out of your food, don't have the sweet treat afterwards, and go back to basics. Because it's easy for me to say it, and they're like, whoa, I've done 40 years of this, like, I'm not stopping now.
Exactly, and this is where obesity can come in.
Yeah.
If you've got someone, either cultural or just how their diet was built up, maybe they were rewarded for finishing their plate with some chocolate. Maybe they were rewarded for being good at school with some crisps. Multiple different things. All of a sudden, you're going to look at someone, oh, I had a really hard day at work, I'm going to get that takeaway. Oh, that train journey was really, really disastrous. Let me have 2 croissants. I love my croissants.
Yeah, always love croissants.
All of a sudden, before you know it, you've rewarded yourself more than you've actually eaten proper food.
Yeah.
And I don't know, obviously, in your situation, what your diet used to be like. My diet was pretty bad in my early 20s because that's what I did. If I was, you know, sad, or if I was going out, whatever, but I'll reward myself with that, reward myself with that.
Yeah.
Before I know it, 80% of my diet is rewards, which is the chocolate, the crisps, the soft drinks, etc. And then the only good food would be what my mum cooks me for dinner.
Yeah, but then you've rewarded for eating all of it, so it's just gone backwards. Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Right, and this, from a lot of what I've seen when it comes to obesity or just general overweight, is that what the first tackle is just get your main meals in check. Very often, if you can get your main meals in check and watch our nutrition episode, which I believe was episode 2 or 3 earlier on, around what to eat, if you can get your nutrition in check for your main meals, very often that will avoid you at least eating as many snacks
100%.
without even thinking about taking things away yet. Very often the reason people are craving this is, as you said, I didn't even know about this with spicy and sweet, but it could be you're used to having, I don't know, 3 waffles and bacon for breakfast, just swapping those waffles with just slices of toast.
Yeah.
You're cutting a few hundred calories from that.
Yeah.
Right? Without even changing too much, just implementing some better meals, very often you will just lose weight from that.
You'll see a massive
And again,
change
if we're looking at just general obesity, right, 30% women, if you can get less than 30%, which 28, all of a sudden you're actually clinically healthy now, body fat percentage wise, that all it takes is that few hundred calories less a day. Men,
That brings
again,
you out of that.
get under that 25.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, again, if you get into morbid obesity, again, same thing. If we can get that lower, at least to start off with, it will take a little bit more hard work. Obviously, even for morbid obesity, BMI is over 40, basically. But main meals, get those in check first, then look at the snacks and things in between if you need to. Very often, if you're eating those main meals properly, everything else will start just falling in check. I know myself, I'm sure you do as well, right? If I have a day where everything's prepped, or at least I know what I'm eating in the day, I snack a lot less. I might have a chocolate bar, I might have something, but I'm not having
much
I'm not
less.
having 10 chocolate bars.
Because if I've got to go out and buy my food or recreate food, or, you know, go out buy some rice and some chicken and put it all together, I love that as well, I'll add it in. Because I'm buying it, I'm there anyway, whereas if I don't need to go out and buy anything, there's nothing to my disposal. And it's the same as the lifestyle. I'm a big believer of, I just had the chocolate because it was in the cupboard. We'll take it out of the cupboard then. I saw something on...
That's a good one.
I saw it on Lane Norton's Instagram a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, we've shouted him out a couple of times. Both follow him. It was, put a sticky note on your fridge. Put it on the cupboard, whatever. Not turn yourself off. Just... I think the sticky note said something like, do you need this, or will it make you better? Just so subconsciously, you think about it. You might still reach for the chocolate bar. You'll be like, oh yeah, whatever, I wrote that 4 weeks ago. But you've thought about it. And the next morning you'll be like, oh, I probably shouldn't have had that. So next time you won't have it. which is a really good point.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Do that.
Shout out to Lane Norton again.
Another one that you touched on as well that I always say to people is don't have the food in the house in the first place. If you want to go and get it, walk to the nearest shop that sells it.
It's the same thing though, because you've got to make a conscious decision to go for a walk, get in your car, go out your way, go to the cashier, pay for it, take it home and eat it. It's a lot longer of a process than just reaching and drawing next to you. And I think that will make a massive change as well.
So I think, is there anything else you wanted to touch on? So to wrap it up, I guess, is one, why is obesity on the rise? I guess the main thing we've touched on there is mainly lifestyle and habits, if I'm honest. It's upbringing, lifestyle. Obviously food is in a lot more excess right now, so it's easier to overeat as well, obvious reasons. It isn't just a calories in, calories out job. When it comes to obesity, it is going to be changing those lifestyle habits: diet, exercise and sleep. As boring as it sounds, we're going to say that on multiple different topics. Those are the top three, but they are the top three. If you can get those as your main lifestyle habits, day in, day out,
everything will fall in place.
You'll at least be under these thresholds.
Yeah, just be under the obese threshold. It's not hard to be under like 30% body fat or 25% body fat.
I honestly believe, hand on heart, if most men and women weight train 2-3 days a week, eat well and sleep well, they'll at least be women probably between 25 and 30 without even, really eating healthy, just eating...
No, just a natural lifestyle,
25 to 30, men probably 18 to 25, give or take.
I was hopefully just say that.
You'll be on the lower end, at least. And then if you want to get leaner, you're going to have to get a little bit stricter on diet. That's about it.
No. And I think if you are listening to this, obviously I hope you are, and you've got this far, if you do your body fat percentage test, if you do look at it, obviously on the right scales and right measurements, and if you're a couple of percentage away, I don't think this should scare you, but I think it should kick you in a little bit and be like, wow, I'm closer to obesity than I thought, and the complications and health that come with obesity, hopefully it keeps you under that, and this just sets you a little bit more understanding as to where you lie when it comes to obesity as well.
100%.
You said it again.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up there.
Wrap it up there, guys.
No more 100%.
Cool. Let's wrap it up there.
Yeah.
A good episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe. If you haven't watched any of our things, we've got a playlist called podcast episodes in our YouTube. Spotify, we've got comment notes underneath. If you leave any questions there, we will answer them in a Q&A every 4 weeks.
We are starting Q&As now.
And I think that's about it, guys.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, appreciate the support. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers, Luca.